Keeping well during a pandemic. Supporting your immune system for wellness. Hello, I'm Dr. Timothy Gerhart, and people ask me who I am and some of my initials after my name, what they mean. The reality, it means I've been committed to a lifelong learning and improving my ability to assist people in staying well. And so I describe myself as a holistic physician because people come to me with a whole long list of problems. And immune problems have been something that we've been helping people with for many years. When I want to learn, I teach. When I really want to learn, I write a book about it. First book, 7 Steps to Wellness, is now in its 3rd edition. Changing Your Brain, Transform Your Life came out next. Why Am I Not Right Since My Concussion? And the most recent is Living Free of Dementia. Why does this matter? Because we need a healthy brain for a healthy immune system. They are very much linked. So, am I going to get sick? Patients for many years call in and they say, I'm sick. It may be the flu, it may be a cold, it may be whatever. And they ask, do I need to come in? And I said, of course you need to come in so we can support your immune system. If I get sick, it's my own fault because I haven't been taking care of my immune system. And that's been my attitude for 37 years. And I very rarely miss a day due to being sick because this kind of care works. Am I going to be sick? It depends. Exposure is an issue. Now is not the time to deliberately expose ourselves to the coronavirus or whatever. Washing our hands with soap and water has been a smart thing to do for many, many, many years. What about all the hand sanitizers? Dr. Stephen Gundry, and that's the link. He's a heart surgeon and also schooled in functional medicine. He does not recommend washing your hands other than with soap and water because the hand sanitizers can damage the microbiome of our skin and weaken our immune system. He also details the research showing that typical masks simply do not work. Avoiding high exposure risk, the first thing to keep in mind is we will all be exposed in a typical viral pandemic, whether it's the flu, the common cold, or in this case the coronavirus. Dr. Michael Osterholm headed the Minnesota Department of Public Health for most of the years I practiced in Minnesota. He now heads the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota, and he's considered a top expert internationally in pandemics. He travels the world studying them. He basically said trying to stop a viral pandemic like this is like, in his words, trying to stop the wind. Our public health authorities talk about slowing it, but even then that is very limited due to the fact we started testing so late. So the fact is, almost all of us are going to be exposed to this virus at some point. What we need is a strong immune system. Dr. David Katz, director of the Yale Prevention Research Center, is now in the op-ed from Thomas Friedman in the New York Times on Sunday, is talking about getting America back to work in the next 2 weeks. That we need to move from quarantining everybody, horizontal containment, to vertical containment. Let's focus on the people at high risk, serious chronic health issues. Let's focus on containing those people to reduce exposure because quarantining everybody creates significant deaths across the country for many other reasons. My immune protection is the most important thing to focus on at this time. Let's put it in perspective. That was done very early this morning. That's the number of cases in America, and sadly we've had 775 deaths, and that will be rising as time goes on. 1.4% fatality rate. So let's put that in perspective. The CDC estimated that in the 5 months, October 2019 up to the end of February, we had between 20 and 52,000 deaths from the flu. And best estimates are around 40,000. Okay, 775, yes, that's a lot. 40,000, that's certainly a lot. So, do we need to be concerned with the flu? Yes. Coronavirus? Yes. The things that keep us safe from the flu keep us safe from coronavirus. And what are they? It's a strong, healthy immune system combined with reasonable sanitation and reducing our exposure. So the real issue is don't be among the 1% or 1.4% of people that when they get sick, they die. How do we do that? Or who are those people? It's the people with chronic disease that are unwell. Obesity, 45% of Americans over age 45 are obese. It triples the risk of dying from this and other viral diseases. Smokers, triples our risk of 400% risk, increased risk of dying from pneumonia if you're a smoker. And by the way, coronavirus in and of itself doesn't kill us. What kills us is viral pneumonia that results from that. So many prescription drugs increase our risk of dying from pneumonia, and they weaken our immune system. Acid blockers, over the counter, commonly taken because we have heartburn because we're eating junk food. Maybe now is not a wise time to eat junk food. Living in fear and worry. Our thoughts create disease and wellness. Poor sleep, lack of sunshine, eating junk food, binging on sugar. Is now a good time to binge on junk food and binge watch whatever kinds of horror TV shows. Low vitamin D, low zinc, low vitamin C, low vitamin A are all significant factors. Living under the hormones of stress with an imbalanced brain. Leaky gut, we'll talk about that, and lots of EMF, and we'll talk about that. Our goal is to make us resistant to viral infection. Dr. Jack Wolfson describes it as we want a bulletproof immune system, as strong and resistant. Step 1, fix the gut. Step 2, eat smart. Fix the brain. Guess what controls our immune system? Our brain. Supplement smart. A stress antidote, release and replace. We'll describe what that means. Get great sleep, and sunshine is unusually helpful to our immune system. And then reducing EMF. Where is 80% of our immune system located? In our second brain, known as the gut, our digestive system. This brain has 100 billion neurons with a B. This brain has 500 million neurons with an M. So fixing the gut involves this brain-gut connection, both brains being balanced and healthy. So when we look at a healthy gut, it means we're eating the foods that work right for us. Everybody's a bit different. So the lining of our small intestine, that lining right here, that is healthy. That's the one cell thick lining that separates what goes in the toilet, toxic stuff, from our bloodstream. When we eat junk food, when different medications damage the lining of the gut, so now we leak toxins that should go in the into the toilet, into our bloodstream. And obviously they damage our mitochondria and weaken our immune system. So that lining, that one cell thick lining looks like that. That's healthy, that's leaky. Now is not a time to have a leaky gut. So what is our largest organ? Our largest organ by number of cells is our microbiome. We have about 70 trillion human cells. We have about 100 trillion cells in our microbiome. These are microscopic bacteria, viruses, fungi. Every part of our body is covered in microbes. So people say, I'm going to wash my hands to get rid of all my viruses. Well, we have about 2 million bacteria, viruses per square centimeter of skin. That's per 0.6, a little over a half-inch square. The reality is we have a balance of healthy and unhealthy. We don't want to disturb that. So every part of our body is covered in microbes. Our skin, our eyes, ears, nose, sinuses, mouth, the lining of our stomach, intestines, bladder, even our bloodstream has its own microbiome. Cerebrospinal fluid. We are not just humans, Homo sapiens. We are really a complex rainforest. A hollow biome means many microbiome communities. I love this graphic. We are in reality all sorts of microbes covered in a human shell, where human cells are the minority. These microbes are a critical part of our immune system. So this is a cross-section through the intestine. You see all the microbes? There are trillions of them. That is the mucus layer that separates the microbes from that one cell thick lining that of our small intestine and large intestine. So good fences make good neighbors. Guess what makes that layer, that mucus layer, happy and thick? Eating fiber, as in vegetable fibers. We'll talk about specific. So when we have a high fiber diet, that looks like that. These cells are generating that mucus layer. We have a happy microbiome, a happy pet on the inside. One doctor talks about feeding your pet when you eat. So you eat fiber to keep your pet happy. What happens if we're not eating enough fiber? The bacteria start to starve, and they start to eat that mucus layer. They eat the fence. Now we're leaking bacteria right into the bloodstream. Does that sound good? That weakens our immune system. So the microbiome is like a rainforest. We want it to be diverse, many plants, and in a rainforest there are no weeds. There's no weed problems. Everything's kept in perfect balance. So what happens when we burn it down or cut it down? We lose diversity, we create inflammation, chronic disease, and we weaken the immune system. Things that do it. The standard American diet, our processed food, SAD, deficient of fiber, antibiotics, excessive sanitation. Do we want to be washing our hands every 5 minutes till the skin falls off? Of course not. Do we want to wash our hands with toxic compounds? No. The hand sanitizer I use uses natural essential oils, natural products. My skin's happy. It doesn't crack, it doesn't bleed, and it smells great. Baby formula, C-sections, and toxic chemicals. So, our intestinal flora, that's all of the microbiome in the gut, profoundly affects our health, affects our immune system. It makes vitamins for us. It's part of our metabolism. It helps us stay lean and fit. It regulates inflammation, and it's implicated in autism when it's out of balance. Bad gut microbes increase inflammation, create poor quality of life, and inflammation crashes the immune system. So, what harms? We talked about antibiotics, bleach-based home cleaners. We use natural products for the clinic and at home. Hand sanitizers, fluoride, chlorine, chemo, many different drugs, processed dead food, deficiency of fiber, and loss of food diversity. Our ancestors ate many different foods for the year. We want diversity. Are all germs bad? We were taught that, and the newer research tells us that's not true at all. Because what happens is, Dr. Rob Dunn heads the Department of Research at the University of North Carolina and published this book which summarizes the research. Every surface of our homes, of our clinics, inside your water faucet, water heater, every part of our home, our clinic, every surface, a hospital is covered in microbes. When you try to kill everything, what you do is you disrupt the balance, because what we now know is most of these bacteria, virus, fungi are benign. They don't hurt us, and they keep the pathogens, the ones that are dangerous, in check. Kind of like a healthy weed suppresses, or a healthy lawn chokes out weeds. That's the way this works. So if you go in with Roundup and spray the whole lawn and kill everything off, what grows back first? The weeds. So this is not about killing everything. This is about creating a wellness balance, not just in our gut, on our skin, but in our living environments as well. Wellness is balance. So, what about food? Eat like your life depends on it. And during a pandemic, it does even more. Is now the time to binge on junk food? We know sugar weakens, crashes, devastates our immune system. Eating a lot of high sugar junk food is a terrible idea. When people ask me what to do, the less our food has been doctored, the less we need a doctor. Eat food that in its natural state. The one prescription is eat unprocessed food. So, paleo food pyramid from Dr. Wolfson is the foundation, and he's a board-certified cardiologist, is vegetables. What's good for the heart, good for the brain, good for the immune system. Lots of vegetables. That's where we get the kind of fiber. We want organic, in season, local when we can. My wife has been kind enough to go to the farmer's market and keep us supplied with all sorts of fresh, local stuff. Meat, fowl, seafood, eggs, plenty of adequate protein for vegetarians, other sources. Avocado, coconut, olives. We need healthy fats to keep our immune system and our brain healthy. Nuts and seeds. What are some examples? Chia seeds, awesome. Hemp seeds, flax seeds. Almonds, peanuts are not on this list. Pecans, macadamias, pistachios. There's a long list of those. Healthy oils in small amount, and fruits the smallest. So, what don't you see in it? You don't see grains. Wheat is a disaster. What we've done with wheat, it was 14 genes back in biblical times. Now there's been changed to 42 genes. We treat it with glyphosate, a toxic pesticide, including right before harvest. And that is incredibly harmful to our immune system, and it turns on inflammation. So, how do we boost microbiome diversity? Lots of new and different veggies. Every time you go to the market, get something new and different. Avoid antibiotics. If budget is limited, focus on organic in your meats. Limit sugar and manage stress. And organic is surprisingly affordable. You can do frozen, you can do even canned organic. The reason I eat mostly organic is to avoid pesticides and herbicides. So here's some prebiotic. These are high fiber foods that feed the microbiome. They're called MACs, microbiome accessible carbohydrates. So the Big Mac for us is not from a fast food chain. Asparagus, yams, onions, garlic, bananas, leeks, chicory, other root vegetables such as Jerusalem artichokes, rich in inulin, phenomenally healthy to the immune system. Flax, sesame, hemp, whole veggies and fruit, not juices. We want the fiber. Don't do juicing. You can make a smoothie with the blender, but don't do juicing. Avocados, I mentioned some nuts, berries, legumes are awesome. Skin on apples, and obviously you want them organic, and sweet potatoes. So, what else crashes our immune system? Problems in our brain out of balance. When it's redlining with stress, when we're in the stress mode, our immune system crashes. So, the way that looks is our lower brain turns on the yellow nerves, which are the stress response. And that's awesome for minutes, as in 20, 30 minutes if we're being chased by a tiger, or we're running from a truck or about to barrel down on us in a crosswalk. We need to run out of the crosswalk. We can't stay there. If we stay there, and many of the patients I see do, then the green nerve, the vagus, parasympathetics, that turns on calm and peaceful, healing and repair, digestion, detox, it goes way underactive, and the list starts. Chronic pain, fatigue, brain fog, sleep, digestive allergy, anxiety, depression, all of that crashes our immune system. So, inflammation weakens our immune system and is common to virtually all of our chronic disease. So, these are some of the triggers for inflammation. Too much stress, we've talked about leaky gut, chronic infection, allergens, junk food, sugar, low vitamin D, many things here. They turn on NF-kappa B, the master switch, turning on the genes, creating the signaling molecules for trouble. All of that affects our immune system. So, the best way to handle that is correct our lifestyle issues. In addition, we use the healing lasers to turn off that excessive inflammation, dialing that down to help all of these. These healing lasers are now called photobiomodulation. They turn off inflammation, and they're awesome for boosting the immune system. Our immune system needs energy to work right. These photons of light boost the mitochondria to make energy up to 40% more, which is one of the critical ways in which this helps the immune system and dial down inflammation. So that's an example of one of our lasers being used on the first brain and second brain at the same time. Yes, it works great with animals. And that is the V-Light. That's an inexpensive home unit that I use daily. In fact, I just used it over lunch today. This is our newest laser, EVRL, and it's FDA approved as antibacterial, antimicrobial. That means antiviral as well as antifungal. It uses the violet along with red to very nicely suppress growth of unhealthy pathogens like the coronavirus, like flu virus, cold virus, bacterial infection, while boosting the immune system at the same time. This is energy medicine. And what's important is our cells are many times more responsive to energy than they are to chemicals. Energy medicine, working with boosting our body's energetics, is a profound healing approach. It's been used for thousands of years in the Far East, and acupuncture is one form of this. Biocidin, one of our favorites to disrupt biofilm, and also a potent antiviral, antibacterial. So, do we need to fear COVID-19 or the coronavirus or current pandemic? Well, let's put it in perspective. SARS, and by the way, SARS is acute respiratory syndrome, severe acute respiratory syndrome. That is also a coronavirus. In 2003, 2004 is when we had that scare, if you would. It had a close to 10% fatality rate. MERS-CoV, another coronavirus, had a fatality rate of 25 to 35%. That was mostly on the Arabian Peninsula. And Dr. Osterholm traveled there and was part of researching that. COVID-19, current fatality rate in America, update is about 1.4%. So is it a concern? You bet it is. We do not take this lightly, but let's put it in perspective. Now, seasonal flu, fatality rate about 0.1%. So this is considerably more concern than the flu. Spanish flu, best understanding now is fatality rate as high as 10%. So, and then the Spanish flu, between 50 and as high as 100 million people died. That was the end of World War I. So, what is, instead of fear, and by the way, fear weakens the immune system, what makes sense? Let's focus on strengthening our immune system. We're going to be exposed to this virus sooner or later. Let's take care of our immune system. So, chiropractic care saves lives. Spanish flu victims under chiropractic care had an estimated 0.25% death rate, a lot less than the normal death rate of 5%. That equates to chiropractic patients having a 20 times better result. That's 2,000% less chance of dying. Why? Because chiropractic treatment boosts the immune system. The Ohio Public Health stats, 1 in 15 people died under medical care during the Spanish flu. Only 1 in 918 died under chiropractic care. What does that mean? It means I get adjusted every week on average, once a week for the past 40 years myself, which is why I rarely get sick, even though that's one reason. The whole lifestyle, I practice what I'm teaching, so that I treat sick people all the time, and rarely am I sick. My staff are getting treated at least once a week now, because we want to keep our staff healthy so we can continue to help sick people. And to do that, we need to practice what we preach. So, the critical supplements for the immune system, call them the Core 5, a high-grade multi. Even one nutrient deficiency out of at least 18 on the list will crash the immune system. And most Americans are depleted or deficient in multiple. Typical study puts it around 8. Fish oil are really nice for the immune system. Vitamin D is perhaps the most important. But if you're going to supplement, make sure you have K2 with it. Magnesium, magnesium, magnesium. One, it reduces stress. We know stress weakens the immune system. But beyond that, magnesium boosts our ability to make energy in the mitochondria. And what's critical for our immune system to work right is energy from the mitochondria. And then vitamin C is awesome for the immune system. Linus Pauling, two-time Nobel Prize winner, would typically take 12 to 16 grams a day. During this time, I'm taking 25 to 30 grams. I have some allergy issues right now, and my body just feels good with that. Glutathione is wonderful for the immune system. One study showed that N-acetylcysteine, a precursor to glutathione, reduced death rates due to pneumonia 7-fold. So, supplementing smart, vitamin D. Now, if somebody's starting to get sick, we want to give them a boost. And so we can safely go to high levels for 3 to 5 days, not 3 to 5 weeks or months. That is the most effective single immune boost that I've seen for people that need help. Obviously, we need to reduce our sugar, get our sleep rest. Probiotics is one of my favorite. Biocidin is awesome. High-dose vitamin A. Do not do this one if you're at risk of becoming pregnant. High-dose vitamin D during early pregnancy can create birth defects, and so otherwise it's quite safe. Mega IgG 2000 immunoglobulin, zinc. Zinc's really important for the immune system, and colloidal silver is another great one. So, how cute is that? So we need to smile. Our pets are very healthy for us. Dr. Bruce Lipton documents the research that our thoughts can cause disease. Getting rid of anger, anxiety, toxic stress is real important. Dr. Lipton, but many of research tells us much of our chronic disease is caused by stress, and our thoughts create stress. Our thoughts can make us sick, and they can make us well. My practice at this time is to, and sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I am grateful for everything, and I have nothing whatsoever to complain about or worry about. Sometimes I need to repeat that a little more often to myself, but with practice it gets easier. What do we know in the research? Worry affects the immune response. Brain study links negative emotions to lowered immunity. So stress weakens our immune system. What's the antidote? We call it R&R. It means release. So stress is caused by what I attempt to hold on to control. And so learning to let go doesn't mean I don't care, but I let go of my need to control or make this work out. And then replace. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you release something, you have to replace it. Gratitude is a very healing frequency. For those who have a scriptural perspective, the Apostle Paul said, be grateful in all things. That is profoundly healthy to our mind, body, and our immune system. So, I am grateful for everything, and I have nothing whatsoever to complain about or worry about. Less than 6 hours of sleep, 420% higher risk of the common cold. What causes the common cold? Another coronavirus. The point is, sleep weakens our immune system and increases our risk of getting sick. So, sleep's critical to our immune system. So, when we're sleep deprived, we have fewer immune system soldiers. Our soldiers are lacking ammunition, and our soldiers are sluggish and ineffective. They're supposed to protect us. We want to take good care of them. Let's get our sleep. Sleep plan, sleep with sundown. When the sun goes down, it's time to go to sleep. We have 2 dogs. They tell us if the sun goes down, that it's time to go to sleep. Awake with the sunrise and enjoy sunshine on the face is really healthy. Minimize light after dark. Turn the screens off, TV, computer screens, phones after dark. And F.Flux is F.Lux is a free app that reduces the color on the screens of my phones and computer, so they go from blue, which is stimulatory, to more of a yellow, and so it doesn't interrupt sleep. Blue blocker glasses I typically wear after dark as I get ready for sleep. So, sunshine heals. Relationship of sunshine to flu, look at the date, 1902. Inactivation of the flu virus by sun. Low temperature, low UV indexes the further you are from the sun, the higher the risk of trouble with the flu virus. And this was Northern Europe 2010 through 2018. So that's a picture in Boston during the Spanish flu. What they found is the people that were brought outside to get sunlight had a reduced death rate from those that were kept in the tents. Now you notice that's Boston in the winter. Look at that guy. See how he's dressed up? That was cold out. They still brought them out. It helped them survive. So, sunshine plan. Get outside every day. Earlier morning, later in the evening best. Sunshine is great. Don't burn. Sunburn bad. Skin to win. Get some skin exposure to the sun. Skin is a solar panel that converts photons of light to energy and health. Those with the highest vitamin D levels have the best immune system. Get sunshine. But in my experience, get sunshine and take your vitamin D. Best is get your vitamin D tested, then you know just what your levels are. So, frequency matters. Who's heard of EMF? Electromagnetic frequency? Healthy is 50 hertz or less. The electricity in the circuits on the wall, like to the outlets, in Europe is 50 hertz. I was an exchange student in Germany. It's 50 hertz. That is healthy. In America, we're at 60 hertz. It's too high. That's not healthy. What is the frequency of a cell phone? Do you think if 60 hertz is too high, what do you think that is? 18 million hertz. That's the most common. Does that sound healthy? So we know from the research that Wi-Fi and these kinds of EMF damage our body, our nervous system, our brain, and they damage our immune system. They weaken our immune system. They can create depression. Anxiety, depression weaken the immune system. That's with microwave frequency EMFs. Frequency matters. We talked about less than 50 hertz best for human health. So 4G, so most cell phones operate at 1800, some up to 2600 megahertz. Megahertz means million hertz. Now, what about 5G? 5G is in gigahertz. That's in billion hertz. That is way worse. So, the crowd dispersal systems, these are energy weapons designed by the military, operate in these gigahertz frequencies. We have them on our poles now, on our transmitters by our homes. So, 2G was 1.9 billion hertz. Now as you work up to 3G, most of us are 4G, 2.5 gigahertz, billion hertz. That's similar to a microwave oven. What about 5G? Does any of that sound healthy? Is it a coincidence that in Wuhan, China, in 2018, they installed 15,000 of those antennas? Also through much of China, the affected areas, and South Korea. There's a fairly good overlap, the outset of the virus. Is this the only factor? No, but it weakens our immune system to protect us against viruses. So how does it do it? These EMFs activate voltage-gated calcium channels, and there's all this signaling and ends up creating inflammation, which weakens the immune system. Practical steps. Never hold your cell phone to your ear. I'm sensitive, so if I put it to my ear, I have a headache in under 10 seconds. So I use it on speakerphone as far from me as I can. Some people use Bluetooth earbuds. Airplane mode. My cell phone right now is on airplane mode, which means it's emitting none of those frequencies. Only when I turn it on, then it'll download from Verizon all of my calls and messages. But I never carry it on my body other than in airplane mode. Optimize magnesium and all of our nutrients, and then use an R2L to reduce radiation from the antenna. That attaches to our cell phone and it reduces radiation exposure up to 70%. So, what about our wireless router modem in our homes? Do we want to have that right by our head when we're sleeping? Of course not. This should not be in our bedroom. Place this as far from where you sleep as possible. Remember, it operates at 2.4 billion hertz. And then install a $5 mechanical switch like you get from Home Depot or the hardware store, and kind of like you use on your lights when you're out of town, that automatically turns it on and off. So it turns it off when you go to bed, and it comes back on at bedtime, and in the morning when you wake up. Another thing I wear is a Q-Link. Some of my staff have these also. Q-Link is an awesome tool that's been around for, 25 years, and it converts some harmful EMF to much more safe frequencies. That is a link. You can get them on Amazon for just under 100. So, is 5G linked to COVID? That's what I was talking about. It was 10,000 5G antennas activated in Wuhan, another 120,000 in other areas of China. And there's been no testing for safety. There's a reference if you'd like to learn more about that. Are cell phones safe? So Brussels is the first major city to halt 5G due to health effects. Maybe we want to think, maybe we want to be more careful about rolling out this kind of technology because of the effect on the immune system. So, in review, step 1, fix the gut. We talked about that, eating smart. Lesser foods been doctored, the less we need a doctor. Fix the brain, supplement smart. Deal with stress with release and replace. Get great sleep, sunshine, and reduce our EMF. We can strengthen and boost our immune system nicely. Remember, healthy people don't get sick. The most critical thing is let's create a strong and healthy body, brain, and immune system. At Renovare, we call it solving the puzzle. When we work with people with a long list of chronic issues, we have to solve the puzzle, and just one treatment is really enough, or one approach. We need to deal with energetics and the gut, and sleep and stress, and how we eat, and supplementing, and exercising, detox, optimizing brain function, and put it together so people can get well. So, to get started, the copies of our slides are a gift. Just request them from us and we'll send them to you. Consult with a wellness mentor. We're doing this as a complimentary for the first 20 people who schedule. This is designed to get people started with a wellness boosting lifestyle that fits their needs. We're doing that as our gift to support our community. Get treated, chiropractic immune boosting, as I and my staff do, and we have our other therapies that also support the immune system. There's our contact information. And just in final, do not succumb to fear. Fear weakens the immune system. Let's be empowered and realize this isn't scary when we have a healthy immune system. So let's focus on doing that. So, thank you.